this is the first Ozone Clinic Insta Live, and I'm delighted. I'm sort of wearing my interviewer's hat on, but Laura and I have been working together, haven't we, Laura, for quite a while actually, and these are now very, very exciting times. So it's also all things ozone, isn't it? The Ozone Clinic, and we realise that, you know, that it's still very cutting edge, what we're doing here at the Ozone Clinic, and particularly what Laura's doing. And even though it's becoming more mainstream, isn't it, Laura? There's still so much education to be done around ozone. We realise a lot of people really don't fully understand. I mean, it is quite an incredible thing, ozone. I mean, it truly is, isn't it? And the benefits are staggering. Anyway, we thought we'd put together these little Insta Lives, our very first one, so be gentle with us. And I'm just going to ask Laura a few questions. We're going to keep it quite tight and short over these Insta Lives, just so you get a real, you know, little nuggets of information about ozone, and also gives you an opportunity to ask us some questions. We will answer as many as we can today, or we will answer them later in posts online and things like that. Anyway, Laura, thank you. Okay. Here we go. Right, okay, the very first question, of course, is what is ozone? How is it created? And why is it so special? So 3 questions there.
3 questions in one, okay. Okay, so ozone is basically supercharged oxygen. It is a molecule, and it is created by passing an electrical charge over in the way we do it with over medical grade oxygen under pressure, and it basically takes the O2 molecule, which are 2 atoms of oxygen, and binds them to a 3rd molecule, which creates O3, which is ozone. So ozone was first discovered over a century ago, and it's been around and used in medicine and industry for quite a long time, but in recent years it's kind of had a resurgence, because we're now finding out more and more ways that we can use it for medical and health benefits. So basically, ozone it's the supercharged oxygen, but it's not a stable molecule. O2 is a stable molecule, and that's the one that we breathe. But ozone as a molecule, once it enters the body, it doesn't remain as ozone for longer than about 60 seconds, because it breaks down back into oxygen, which our body uses in the normal way. And then it makes things called ozonides, which basically, in short, help our body to repair and heal by creating lots of chemical functions that our body needs to work.
Can I just ask you there, because, you know, as you said before, oxygen, we absolutely need oxygen. We can't survive without oxygen. So oxygen is so important, isn't it?
It's our most important nutrient. We can live without food for a number of days to weeks. We can live without water for a couple of days, but we can't live without oxygen for more than a few minutes. And every cell in our body needs oxygen, and it needs oxygen to produce energy. And the energy that we produce is used to create heat. It's used to create all the processes of the body. That's to break down our food and create nutrients, and to get waste out of our body in an easy to understand way. There's obviously a lot going on within the cells,
yeah.
And they're making lots of things and communicating within the body, and oxygen is needed to do all of that. And what's called within our cells, our mitochondria, which are our powerhouses, they're like a little factory that produces our fuel, our energy source called ATP. And oxygen is a huge part of creating that energy. And without the oxygen, we can't make the energy for anything else. But as we age, our mitochondria and our ability to make energy diminishes, and we start to lose the capability to what's called oxygen utilization, use the oxygen efficiently. And this is where ozone comes in, because ozone, by bringing oxygen in, and the ozonides that I mentioned earlier, they can help to regenerate and recharge those mitochondria to produce the energy that's needed for repairing and healing and living.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does just have so many benefits. Laura, can you just give us, just top line, the treatments or the therapies that are on offer currently at the Ozone Clinic?
So we do everything on ozone.
do.
If there's a therapy with ozone in it, we do it. So we have different ways of basically getting it into the body, and from those different ways of getting it in, it can be used for different things. So we do high dose IV therapy, which is where we take some blood and ozonate that and put the blood back in, and that's done with a special machine that is designed to do that, and that's called high dose IV ozone therapy. So we do that. We have an ozone steam sauna, which puts the ozone into a chamber, and you then take the ozone up with steam and an infrared sauna, which takes the ozone up through our skin transdermally, and that's very good for detoxification. We do ozone injections, and that's for localized sites such as injury, wear and tear, arthritis, so osteoarthritis, and torn ligaments or sprains, where we can really help those injured sites that have become chronic to heal and get better and reduce that inflammation. So that's with our ozone injections. And then we do insufflations. So if, for instance, you were unable to do an IV ozone, that your veins just wouldn't allow it, or for any contraindications, we can then apply the ozone through insufflation, which we can do vaginally or rectally. And rectally, for instance, was really, really beneficial for any gut imbalances or inflammatory conditions of the gut. And it only really destroys the bacteria that are anaerobic, which are the ones that create more inflammation and more damage in our intestines, and it leaves the good healthy bacteria alone, which helps us to rebalance our microbiome. So that we use that for rectal insufflation, and vaginal insufflation, which we can use to help with female problems such as endometriosis and inflammatory conditions, or again microbiome imbalances of the vagina, and to treat things like herpes or HPV, and those kind of viral loads, because ozone is excellent on contact. It will kill bacteria, viruses, and funguses. Fungi. So it's an amazing multi-pronged treatment that can really help in pretty much every condition, because it works with the body, for the body to help to heal and repair itself, which is how these ozonides work, because they just create what your body needs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just fantastic. And for anyone listening, this is a truly natural solution to our health, or to make sure you have good health. We have had one question already, and that is, Laura, what's the best ozone treatment if you're suffering from fatigue, which I know is something that a lot of people suffer from?
Okay, for fatigue, I mean, we can use all the treatments. There isn't, it's personal. So what we do is have a consultation and sit down with you and work out what the best line of treatments would be for you. But for fatigue, really the best that we have is the high dose IV, which is really getting in lots of those ozone molecules into the blood to help the mitochondria to kickstart them to produce energy. And so for fatigue, for definitely the high dose IV therapy.
And one thing I feel that we should really get across is our bodies really love ozone, because let's just reiterate this, it is supercharged oxygen, and it's the one nutrient we truly need to live, to survive. So
I mean, it's the ultimate anti-aging elixir. It's everyone needs it. We are faced with more and more stresses that are placed upon our body, whether that's emotional, whether that's environmental. All of these stresses are really testing our bodies, and we need to help our body, because we really are under lots of different elements that are working against our bodies, and so to put something in that is helping the body really helps us to age in a healthy way, rather than with chronic conditions that are becoming more and more prevalent in this day.
So I think if we could just recap, if you could just recap, please, some of the really key areas it can help people, because you've mentioned osteoarthritis, and I know the ozone active injections, but there's chronic fatigue. So if you could just name some of them. I know it's an endless list, but
it is an endless list, and if you look online, you'll see that there's all these claims that it has this and this and this, which can be kind of it can feel like, well, how does this do everything? It does it because it works with the body, but for the main part, it's really, for things like chronic fatigue, for Lyme disease, for mold toxicity. The saunas are excellent for mold toxicity, for long COVID, for any viruses that are just not moving or being that are basically people are suffering with continuously in a chronic way, such as HPV or herpes. Those are for the systemic whole body treatments. Those are the kind of things. It really is amazing at supporting cancer treatment. So anyone going through chemotherapy or radiotherapy, it can really help to prevent those side effects, the nausea, the fatigue, the neuropathies. It can really help against those, and so that when you are going through a cancer treatment, you can live your life as normally and get on with every day.
We've got another question just come in, which is a really interesting one. Can ozone therapies help mental health?
That is a really good question. And mental health it's such a deep layered condition with mental health. As an element to treatment, yes, absolutely. But with mental health, we need to find out what's wrong with the nervous system. Is the nervous system putting you into a freeze, overwhelmed response where that's where you're feeling the fatigue, that's where you're feeling the depression, because your nervous system has gone into protective mode and your cells have gone into hibernation. So yes, as part of the overall treatment, ozone would definitely be part of that plan to help with mental health, but it is one aspect of a number of therapies that we would use to help someone with mental health. And with ozone as a standalone therapy, like everything, it's not a standalone therapy. You've got to treat the whole body and treat everything as a whole. And when you do that, you need to look at lots of different aspects. And it's, the most conditions are caused by at least 2 to 5 different different influences, and it's like a chain, and those links in the chain are broken, and we need to fix all of those links to get you better. If we fix one link, then we're not going to make much difference. And as part of treatments to fix all those links, ozone is a very, very key part of that. But as we do, and our philosophy at the Ozone Clinic is a holistic, whole body, whole system approach using functional medicine.
Yes, I think I just kind of want to reiterate, we will be going over in more detail some of these subjects and how, or areas I should say, of how ozone therapies can work as part of a, as Laura said, a holistic treatment. I mean, there is so much that I know Laura is going to be sharing over the next few months. It's quite exciting. So we're just going to keep this one tight. You've kind of touched on it, Laura, but could you just give us the synopsis of, what are the key benefits? I know, we talk a lot about elimination and prevention and regeneration, but if you could just give anyone out there watching just the kind of key benefits.
Well, basically, to exist, survive, and live in a well, healthy way with energy, we need to utilize our oxygen efficiently and effectively, and ozone helps us to do that. And we do that by administering it in different ways. But that is the crux of it. For any of our cells to work properly, and when you think of a cell, you kind of disengage it a little bit from the body, but we are made of 70 trillion cells, approximately 70 trillion cells, and those cells, once you group them together, make a tissue, and then you have tissues that group together that make an organ, and then the organs make a system, and then the whole system is our being. So we need to look after every single one of those cells, and those cells need to make energy to do that, to heat us, to provide us with energy, and to provide us with with hormones, with everything that the body needs to work efficiently and effectively. And ozone can help do that, and help tip the balance into a positive oxygen utilization, rather than a decaying shutdown that the cells can do when you're in an overwhelmed state, or a freeze state, or a chronic state.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good way of explaining it, actually. And we will talk more in other episodes about the functional medicine side, and why we talk about, looking at your body from a cellular level. And when we say body, we mean mind and body. The two go absolutely together. And you absolutely have to find out what is triggering certain things right at that cellular level. And that is what is so exciting, that ozone does do that at that level. Listen, Laura, thank you so much. Again, I just want to say to everyone, look, you can find out lots more on the website, which is theozoneclinic.co.uk. Laura is available for anyone who would like to talk to her personally for 15 minutes. You can get a 15-minute free call. So you can do all this if you go online. Please, also, we're doing some newsletters, and they're going to go out at the moment every couple of months, and that's going to give you a lot more insights into the science behind some of it. We'll answer some questions, and we'll give you some of our latest news as well, because there's lots happening, which we're very excited about. And of course, you obviously are following us on Instagram, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and again, LinkedIn. So please share. There's so much to tell everybody, to educate people on ozone. Thank you, Laura. You know, it's just brilliant. Love working with you. It's all so exciting. We have got lots of news, which we are sort of skipping around about at the moment, but anyway, we're going to be doing more of these. So we hope you've enjoyed, and see you next time. Thanks,
Thank
Laura.
you, Tracy. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.